All right, and now here we are at the kitchen. Everything looks okay, kind of to what you said. There's a lot of just tidying up to do, punch list type stuff. You know, they just did a real poor job of just you know, regular cleaning them. You can see literal piles of sawdust down here. And, you know, just easy cleanup. There's a scratch, that's not even a scratch. Maybe it's just a pencil mark. You know, just little things like that. Easy cleanup stuff, but you know, I'm pretty picky when it comes to stuff like this. The molding here really just looks like it needs to be painted. I just don't think it was ever touched up. The trim work was ever done. So there's a spot there. There's this spot here that needs, you know, it just needs to be painted. I think it's really as simple as that. And obviously when a painter comes through, he usually does the wood glue and, you know, fixes it up that way. So it really just needs to be painted. The water spots on the counter are definitely noticeable. I mean, it's significant. So I would look back at your contract with whoever the granite guy was and make sure, because you know, it should say in the contract one way or the other that it is sealed or it isn't sealed and needs to be done. So I mean, that's going to be a big one, because oh boy, that needs to happen. You know, this thing, obviously, I think you probably know, it was pretty dented up and pretty scratched up here. That's usually your go-to, is the scratch and dent world, but this one's got it for sure. Over here, you're okay. This thing was just a really, really poor design. I mean, whoever thought this one up, it has these, I mean, I barely touched this thing. You know, and Iris said it fell on her foot the other day, which I believe it. You know, I barely gave this thing a pull from here, because there's two of them, there's two sets of them. And they're just held in by these clips on either side, and they slide into here in the middle. You know, I tried to put it back in, and man, I was struggling. So I'm gonna try it again in a second. You have to be able to access to that gas panel down there, but it is just a really poor design. She said that somebody's gonna come back and get probably bigger clips here so it stays in there. But I mean, it came out just on me kind of just barely put my finger underneath it and giving it a little pull. So that wasn't good. So that needs to get done a lot better, that's for sure. Backsplash looks pretty good, actually. The colors look really good. Iris put these little pieces here and down here when this thing opens up. So that's pretty helpful. And there's one here for this. So just little things like that, you know, from a design standpoint, was there one over here? Just from a design standpoint, weren't really thought of very well. It'll be okay, obviously, but I'm sure originally you really could have whacked that thing and put a hole in there, chipped it up. There was one shelf that needed to get done up here. He was supposed to come back and do that. So that shelf wasn't done. It looks really nice, so that's a positive. You know, the other stuff is pretty small. If you didn't have to worry about this granite, I'd say you were pretty much in the clear. A lot of that other stuff is pretty small, but to me, from your point of view, that the granite's got to be the biggest concern, because this other stuff, you know, we can work with and we can fix up, but that granite, that problem's not going away. So I'd look back at your contract and see what that is. Okay, I think that's it for now.